Okay, everyone, before we get to the review, let's do a Halloween retrospective. So we start with October 17th, 1978. The very first Halloween film, directed by John Carpenter, is released. A horror movie that stands the test of time. A horror movie that, while it did not invent the slasher genre, definitely it brought it into the mainstream. Even though Black Christmas and Texas Chainsaw Massacre did do it first, Halloween's the one that took the formula and perfected it. There's not much else I can say about this John Carpenter and Deborah Hill classic movie except to go watch it because there's a reason why everyone's go-to horror movie on Halloween is fucking Halloween. So, while the first film was a classic standard bearing masterpiece, how did the sequels fare? Well, let's start with October 30th, 1981. Halloween 2, directed by Rick Rosenthal, is released with John Carpenter and Deborah Hill returning as producers to help make this follow-up to their classic. This movie would begin the whole Michael is Laurie's brother, mainly because NBC bought the rights to show Halloween on TV on the network, and they wanted an extra 15 minutes so they could have more, because they needed more time to air the movie on network television. So, inspired by Empire Strikes Back and not having a whole lot of to know what else to do with this franchise, John Carpenter said they're brother and sister, and they slapped it in there in the final hour. That's why it's brought in more towards the last 30 minutes of the film and not really further explained. But let's forget all that, because while Halloween 2 was a massive success, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill wanted to go in a different direction. So they decided in October 22nd, 1982, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. This time, Carpenter and Hill would only produce the film, with Tommy Wallace not directing. Now, this was an ambitious attempt to make the Halloween franchise into an anthology series, something that would actually affect another horror franchise later on, Friday the 13th. When Sean S. Cunningham wanted to make an anthology series to Friday the 13th, even though he did the second Friday the 13th film, he didn't want to follow the Jason storyline, but that's for another day. So this is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It was an ambitious attempt to do what they wanted to do, but with no Michael Myers, instead androids controlled by an evil corporation trying to do a pagan ritual, fans were not happy at the time, and they were very adamant, we want Michael, making the studio realize there is no Halloween franchise without Michael Myers. So, 6 years later, October 1st, 1988, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Now, this time, John Carpenter and Deborah are long gone. They're gone. And all semblance of Halloween 3 has been swept into the trash and into the cult status that it is. Now, this time, director H. Little took the reins. This would be the film debut of another Scream Queen. Just as Halloween introduced the world to Jamie Lee Curtis, this Halloween film would introduce us to another Scream Queen in Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd. What? No Laurie Strode? Where is she? Well, unfortunately, she was killed off screen via car accident. Or was she? But don't worry, because he's back, baby! Michael Myers returns, and while wearing a really fake-looking mask, shows everyone that he is the king of horror. As he goes through Haddonfield, slashing and dicing, trying to kill his niece. But don't worry, folks, because Halloween 4 was so successful that the next year, in October 13th, 1989, we had Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Directed by Dominic Othen-Gerard, the beginning of everyone's favorite cult, the Cult of Thorn, a disappointing film that disregards Halloween 4's ambitious ending of Jamie slowly taking in Michael's evil and killing her adopted mother. Instead, we decided to throw that out the window, give Laurie a psychotic connection to Michael Myers, and we would introduce the Man in Black and the Cult of Thorn. This movie would also end on a cliffhanger where Michael escapes from prison, and he is abducted, and apparently so is Jamie will also be abducted, which will be a cliffhanger ending to lead to everyone's favorite sequel, September 29th, 1995, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, starring Ant-Man, aka Paul Rudd, and the final Donald Pleasance performance, as Donald Pleasance would die before the film was released. Sadly, we all take a moment of silence for the great Donald Pleasance, who has helped this franchise and has delivered a great performance in every Halloween film he was in. Anyway, a movie's so bad that there are two awful cuts: theatrical and the producer's cut. This film would try to explain Michael Myers via pagan ruins. This film also brought an end to the Jamie story, which may or may not have included incest. That's a review for another day. A film so bad that they didn't know what to do. They were lost. What do we do? Who could save us? So on August 5th, 1998, Halloween H2O, directed by C. Miner, would introduce a very popular trope you see nowadays: the disregarding of all the shitty sequels we made, so that we can make this the true sequel. Something that Halloween would later do with 2018, which we'll get to in a couple minutes. This would disregard all the sequels, and it would pit Michael versus Laurie one last time 20 years later. This was influenced by Scream, as you can tell with some of the sufferential horror and the teen cast. But some gags, like for instance, Jamie Lee Curtis at one point in the film will be scared by her mother, who of course was famously in Psycho, and she would also get in the same car she drove in the movie Psycho when she drove off. And it would do the whole everyone's entitled to one good scare, which is from it's a lot of throwbacks, self-referentials from the Halloween franchise itself. Think like Marvel does when they bring back shit from previous movies into this film. It's like kind of like that, it's self-referential. But this would finally bring us the end of the Laurie versus Michael saga, where Laurie chops Michael's head off, definitively ending this franchise in one fatal swing. Or did it? As July 12th, 2002, Halloween Resurrection came out, directed by Rick Rosenthal, the guy who directed Halloween 2, who directed one of the best sequels and one of the worst sequels. He came back for his magna opus, Halloween Resurrection, a movie that Jamie Lee Curtis only came back to do as long as she died in the first 15 minutes of the fucking film. She said, "I'm coming back. You're killing me. You're killing me. Goddammit. I am not no." A movie about a bunch of college kids filming an internet reality show in the Myers house. This would all culminate, though, in Michael Myers facing his toughest opponent, Busta Rhymes. Sadly, this would be the last entry until they went the remake route. Which brings us to the Rob Zombie Halloween films. Oh god. August 31st, 2007, Rob Zombie's Halloween comes out. I like to call this the redneck remake, because Rob tries to make a half prequel / remake. He spends the first half of the film explaining and showing us why Myers would snap by putting him in this white trash setting, and his stepfather, his sister, all mean to him. Everyone, he's bullied at school, blah blah blah. The only one who seems to be nice to him is his mother and Angel Myers, who would later become Laurie Strode. And the other half is the best way to describe this is a nu metal version of Halloween. As we rush through Halloween, the remake, we do a rush remake of Halloween 1, where Laurie is now a sex-crazed teenager. Her friends are sex-crazed teenagers. There's lots of sex, rape, brutality, baby. However, it did well, despite all the fans not liking this. It did well, and that it is so well that the studio went back and begged Rob Zombie to make a sequel. That's right, boys and girls. In August 28, 2009, 2 years later, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 came out. Oh boy, if you loved all the sex and brutality and giant Michael Myers from the last film, well, don't worry, we upped it up here with a giant redneck hobo Michael Myers that not only is his face showing through almost the entire film, he speaks. Oh, and we bring back everyone's favorite trope from Halloween 5, the psychic connection between Laurie and Michael. Yeah, baby! This would be the last entry into the franchise until, of course, on October 19th, 2018, we would get the Halloween 2018 reboot, RH40 as I like to call it, directed by David Green with John Carpenter back as producers. Can they bring life into this dead horse? Well, we're about to find out.